welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Today we are taking a look at the Chanel Summer 2021 collection. So I do have a video up already with first impressions of the Douceur a Serenite quad, which is this one here. And I have some additional looks to share with you from this quad today, so you can kind of see a little bit more of the range of this particular palette. And one of the looks, I actually only use this like taupe in the gray shade. It's stunning in my opinion. I just think it looks so classic and so sophisticated. If you're somebody who loves like Clair Obscur or Tissé Essentiel, it's along those kinds of lines. So definitely something worth looking at. And, we'll do a few swatch comparisons for this quad as well. Now, in my other video, I also have swatches and comparisons of all 14 of the eyeliners with the new formula. So Chanel has reformulated their eyeliners, and what they have done is they've essentially just replaced the wax that they were previously using. So this way it's going to be a little bit creamier and glides more smoothly. Other than that, the formula has remained the same to my knowledge. And I picked up all 14 of them. So there are 7 new shades and 7 shades that were in the previous formula that are being continued. All of the other shades that are not included in these 14, if you're interested in them, get them while you can. They are technically discontinued. I don't know if we'll see them in future collections or whatnot, but definitely, if there's something that you're in love with that's not included in these 14, definitely pick that up now. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over how these actually perform. So I've been testing these for several days now, and I've tested them in a variety of conditions. So let's go ahead and start off with my thoughts on these eyeliners. So I'm not going to re-swatch all 14 of the eyeliners, but I will swatch quite a few of them. So this one here is one of the new shades. This is Or Antique, number 48. And this one is one of my favorites. I love how bright and vibrant this gold is. And I have worn this in my waterline a couple of times. I don't typically wear eyeliners in my waterline because my eyes are very sensitive. And a lot of times they don't perform super well there anyway, especially if you've got like watery eyes like I do. So these, Le Stylo Yo, these are waterproof. And I have to say, they did hold up. So I wore these on my waterline. It did fade by the end of the day, but it was still there. So, you could still clearly see it. You didn't have to stretch to look or anything, but it just wasn't as vibrant as it was earlier in the day. So after 10 hours though, still there. Today I have on Bleu Métal, number 38. This is another one that I really like from the new collection. And you can see that that's going to be like a nice vibrant blue. I think this is going to look really well to enhance, certain eye colors. I actually like it with my brown eyes. So I think that one's really nice. And 46 Vert Emeraude. Now, another thing to attest to these waterproof liners, these actually stayed on when I went swimming. So I don't wear makeup in the pool, but I didn't really have like my full, stuff to remove all of my eye products and everything. So I left the eyeliner on. And I realized at the end of the day, actually at nighttime even, it was still there. You could still see it. So they stayed through the pool and a shower and everything. This is another one that I really like. This one is 56 Khaki Metal. You see there's a little bit of gold shimmer in that. And overall, I would have to say that these do feel creamier, in my opinion, than the previous formula did. For me, I was never like super in love with the previous formula. I liked it, but I did find that sometimes they were a little bit dry, didn't really perform quite as well. This one is 83 Cassis. And I just, you know, so it was kind of hit or miss depending on what shade it was. So that one I ended up, you know, liking, but not loving. And I have to say the new formula I think is nicer. It's still not my favorite eyeliner formula. I do prefer something like a, you know, like something a little creamier, like more of a kohl pencil type, like the Chantecaille Luster Glide Silk Infused Eyeliners. This one here is number 30, Marine. This is one of the colors that they have brought back. And another one that they brought back that I'm sure a lot of people are very happy about is 943 Brun Agape. And I'm just going to swatch a couple more. This one is Gris Graphite. And this is number 42. You can see that that is kind of like a silvery gunmetal gray, but you do have the shimmer in there. You know, I guess we've already swatched 8 of these, so let's just finish the 14. But we won't do the comparisons this time. All right, so 20 Espresso. You can see that's like a good medium brown. When I think of the word espresso, though, I typically think of something a little bit deeper than that. So I do hope that they come out with another black brown like they did before, like, what was it? I think it was Blackwood. This is 54 Rose Cuivre. And I actually like this shade, which I didn't think I would. 928 Eros. Again, this is a returning shade. 36 Prune Intense. And last up we have 88. This is Noir Intense. And this one is 10 Eben. You can see that Eben is a little bit more of a bluer black. It's a little bit richer. And you don't really notice the difference unless you put these two side by side, you know, but they are going to be a little bit different from each other. This one is slightly warmer, Eben is slightly cooler. So these are the 14 shades that they have kept around and introduced new shades in. So overall, I would have to say that I do like this new Chanel eyeliner formula. I haven't had any issues with it so far. Well, you know, obviously we'll have to see long term, you know, how long these things last without drying out, but I don't expect any issues. There were no major reformulations, and these do have an 18-month shelf life, and they're made in Italy. The new eyeliners are $34 US instead of $33 US. So just something to note. And again, these 14 shades here are permanent. So just to take a look at this quad, I have to say I have been absolutely loving this quad. I'm just going to swatch this here. All right, and you can see that this last shade here, it's a little bit pinkish. It's this shade. And you've got kind of like a more blue base purple here, a more red base plum here. This is really more like if you're looking at like a fresh plum on a tree, you know, it's like reddish with a tint of purple. That's what I feel like this shade looks like. But there's enough of that blue tone in there that it doesn't give me that red eye look. So I actually really like all of these shades. So we got the taupe, the gray, and on me, this looks gray. On, if you look at Jen from Just Glow Firefly, if you pull up her video on these, it actually looks more greenish on her. She has a warmer skin tone than I do. So just something to note. For me, it's a pretty accurate gray. You know, it's a warmer gray, but I don't really see the green in it. But on her, you can definitely see green tones in it. So just something to note. You can see even that this taupe shade here has a little bit of a rosy hue to it. It's kind of like a rosy clay taupe. And this one, you know, I just think this is a really beautiful, it's got blue in it. You got this blue base purple, but you can see that the actual, use the same finger that I used here, the actual base of this has pink in it as well. So it's going to be neutral. So just a few comparisons of some of these shades. This is the Tom Ford Moonlit Violet palette. So I'm going to swatch the 4 of these right below that. So you can see these 4. So you can see that these are going to be shimmery in comparison. And you can see that this shade here is a little bit more blue based than the Chanel, but they do have a similar vibe to them. The color story itself has some similarities because you have this gray and you got a little bit more of a golden taupe here, but the actual tones of them do differ. I would say that these two are the most similar to those 2 shades. I also wanted to take a look at this shade here from Virgin Orchid. So we're gonna put that one, well, we'll just put it right underneath here. Nope, it's definitely deeper. And then this shade here from Virgin Orchid. Just wanted to see what this one looks like. No. And then this is Tom Ford Pretty Baby. So let's take a look at this purple here. I'm gonna put that one, let's put it right here so we can kind of compare. Again, it's more blue based, but they do have some similarities. And then let's take a look at this first shade here. Put that right here. And get a little bit more of that. So it has a little bit more of a purple base to this taupe shade, but you can see they're very close. Now these other 2 shades in Pretty Baby are different. This is a brown and this is like a pink. You can see it's a little bit of a duochrome. And I want to take a look at Clair Obscure. And we're gonna start off with this shade here. And I wanna put that right there. You can see that it's gonna be deeper. And then these are pretty much all browns. You can see this one in some lighting looks gray, but it's really not so much. I'm gonna swatch this whole quad. Okay, so I'm gonna swatch the other 3 shades from Clair Obscure. So this is the very first shade. And then these are the 2 on the bottom. You can see though that this one from Douceur Serenite is still going to be closest to the second shade in the quad. It's kind of a mix of the second and third shade. If you were to mix them, you kind of get that. And then let's take a look at Tissé Essentiel. So we'll do all 4 of these shades as well. This is a different formula. You can see just looking at this that, you know, this has kind of that bulbous appearance. It is going to be a little bit different. And you know what? We're going to put these right below here and then I will re-swatch those shades from the Douceur Serenite. So those are the 4 here. Let me get those 2 from Douceur. So here are the top 2 from Douceur. All right, so you can see that Tissé Essentiel, this is definitely warmer, it's deeper. The one in Douceur Serenite is a softer gray. And even this like lighter taupey shade here, this one, you can see is going to be deeper than the second shade, this shade. And it's going to be a little bit cooler. It's got that like rosy mauve tone to it that is missing in the Tissé Essentiel. But overall, the color stories do kind of vibe with those 2 shades. Okay, and just a couple more shades. I want to compare. This is Dior Tutu. We're just going to take this purple, wisteria purple blue shade, and I'm going to put that right up here. It does not match these, but I just wanted to show you what the difference is because this one's a lot more blue based. And then I wanted to take a look at Dior Plum Tulle. So we're going to start with the shade in the middle and the last shade here. So we're going to look at these 2 purples. Let's just put these 2 right up here. And let me get those 2 from Douceur. Okay, so these are the 2 from Douceur Serenite. And you can see that the 2 in Dior are going to be more blue based than the Chanel, but they do have a similar look to them. Now, these other shades in Plum Tulle, they don't really match. I'll swatch this one because it's the closest. And we'll put that right up top, right above the first shade here. You can see that it's going to be a satin finish. And it does have kind of that mauve undertone like the Chanel does. But overall, it does look very different, and it's satin. So I just swatched Douceur and Serenite here on my hand so you can kind of see this again. And you can see the finish is a little better. All three of, well, these two shades and the last shade, these are all mattes. So you can see even this more like plum pink purple kind of shade is going to be a matte. And only this more blue base purple has a slight satin sheen to it. So it is a satin, but it's a soft satin. And the others are all mattes. So final thoughts on all of these items. I absolutely love this eyeshadow quad. I personally love purple eyeshadows. I wasn't too sure if I was gonna like the last shade in here, but surprisingly, it actually looks really nice on. You know, I don't have any issues with my eyes looking red or sickly, in my opinion. I do have a clip, you know, an eye look with that one as a primary color, so you can take a look at that. I'll show you those clips in a second, but I would have to say that this quad is fantastic. It's definitely going to be one of my favorite Chanel eyeshadow quads. I love the color story. The formula lasts all day on me, and I like having the mattes and a little bit of a satin. I personally love satin finish eyeshadows, but I do like to use mattes once in a while as well. And I think this has a nice blend to keep everything still very sophisticated looking. And I personally really love having these top two shades in here because doing a look with just those makes it just so like utterly sophisticated. I absolutely love it. And then obviously having those pops of color in there to kind of, you know, add to that. I think that's gorgeous. I can think of some really pretty color stories that I hope Chanel will do with, you know, some neutrals and some pops. And I really, really like this one. Now, as for the eyeliners, I did go over my thoughts on those. I think they are creamier than the previous formula, and I really like them. You know, I really like the shades that they have in this collection, and I find them to last incredibly well. They really do stay put for me. I don't have super oily eyelids, so, you know, just something to note, but I have had no problems with them lasting all day in the pool or anything. And yeah, I mean, they do come off with makeup remover, so no issues with that. Sweating outside in them, no issues. So I have to say, I am very impressed with how they wear, how they perform, and I do notice a difference in the creaminess. You know, again, certain shades in the older formula were just as creamy feeling, but other ones that I had were a little bit drier. So I can tell a difference. And I have to say that I do like them. They're not my favorite eyeliner formula of all. I prefer creamier kohl style eyeliners most of the time because I like that smudged look. But these work really well. You can see in some of the clips how you can smudge them out quickly a little bit. And, you know, but if you want a precise line, these work really well for that as well. And just a note, you know, the ends do come off with a little sharpener, just like on the older packaging, so that you can sharpen these. And again, these are twist ups, so no sharpener required. Essentially just this to kind of like fine tune it after you've kind of worn down, you know, the actual points on there. So let me go ahead and share with you some eye looks. I have this one here as well as a couple others, and thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if there's anything else you're interested in seeing with these particular products, and have a great day. So I have on the Viseart eye primer, and we're going to take number 42, Gris Graphite. I'm going to put this on first. I don't have anything else on right now. I'm just going to kind of make like a thicker line. And then I want to smudge this a little bit. So we're getting a thick line of this. We'll go up a little bit here. Not like a real wing, just slightly up. I'm taking the Synergy Smudger too, and I'm just gonna just brush that lightly. Just bring that up a little bit. And you can see that it has pretty much set already. I took a second to find the brush, but I'm able to smudge it a little bit. Okay, so this is Gris Graphite in a thick line along the lashes. I'm going to take number 943 Brun Agape and just put this in the inner portion here. And I'm taking the smudger 2 and just kind of softly going over to the gray with that. Now I'm going to put this one on the lower lash line as well. So I'm putting it right on the rim, like not quite on the waterline, but as close as you can get without actually going on it. And I'm going to take the smudger and just lightly smudge that. And then for the inner portion of the lower lash line, just right here, I'm going back with green graphite just a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to put this kind of right here. Next, I'm taking the Omnia crease brush, and I'm going to go into a mix of the beige and the gray. So I'm getting a little bit of beige first, and this is going to go for the crease. And now I'm taking that same brush, I'm going just into the gray shade. And I just want to use this palette today just with those top 2 shades and get something, you know, without purple. So just dabbing that on a little bit, softening that a little. Then I'm taking the Omnia shader brush into the beigey taupe. And I'm going to put this all over. I'm putting this on top of the eyeliner to diffuse it a little bit. It does take away a bit of that shimmer from the eyeliner, but I'm okay with that. All right, so now that I have that done, I do want to go back in and add a little bit of the gray graphite right along the lash line. So I have a little bit more of that metallic hint right at the lashes. But I wanted it to be a little bit more of a gradient. Taking the smudger 2 and just softly smudging that. All right, so this is it. And then I'm just gonna add some mascara and I'll see you in a second. All right, so on my eyelids right now, I have the Prune Intense eyeliner just smudged out. And I smudged that out with the Sonia G Smudger 2, so it's a stiff one. So I was able to kind of blend it up a little bit. And you can see that this tone actually ends up not looking too red on the eye like I was kind of afraid of, but it's a really nice like berry shade still. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna focus on this berry shade today. And I'm actually gonna start off with, this is the Chikuhodo Z11. I'm gonna start off in the gray. We're going a little bit darker today. And I'm gonna put this in the crease. And I just got a tiny bit of the gray because I don't want this to be too dark up here. I just want a hint of a shadow. What do we think? Let's add a little bit more. All right, there we go. That's good. And then we're taking the Sonia Soft Shader, going straight into this more fuchsia purple shade. I'm not even sure what to call this. It's like a prune purple, plum. So we're going to put this all over the lid. So shades like this, you know, they can either look really, really great, or sometimes they have too much red and they make me look sickly. So I wanted to put this one all over to really kind of see how this one performs on its own and how this one looks on my eyes. Okay, I actually really like this color on my eyes. I am surprised, honestly. Taking the Z11 again and just kind of going into the crease, blending those together a little bit. Okay, and then I wiped this off. You can see it's still stained. I'm going to be using the other side of it. I'm going to go into the taupe shade because I do want to lighten it a little bit on the inner portion. You can see how much product comes up. So I'm going to start over here in the corner and I'm just going to go over this kind of plum shade to about the halfway point, just to give it like a softer, more filtered look. Okay, again with the Z11. And then underneath, I'm going to take this same shade I put all over the lid. I'm just going to kind of smudge this in. So I wipe that off, and now I'm going to go into the gray and put that kind of right on top of this. I'm trying to go slightly higher. All right. Yeah, I feel like it makes my eyes look a little bit bigger having the gray adjacent to the white of my eye versus the plum shade. I'm going back in with the Prune Intense, which I had on earlier on its own. And I'm just going to put this right along the lash line. All right, and this is it. I'm gonna add some mascara. I'll show you this in shot. So this is the final look from a distance. I have on the Chanel Le Volume de Chanel in Metal Terracotta, which was from the spring collection. And, you know, it's nearing its end of its life. So I just wanted to use that one up. But I do actually think that this would look better with black mascara or a deep espresso brown. All right, and thank you so much. All right, so I have the Viseart eye primer on, and today I really want to play a little bit more with this gray and this purple. So we're going to start off with the gray. This is the Suku L brush, and I'm just going to kind of put this all over. I want to see how lightly this goes on, and then I'm going to see how it builds. So that is a super soft layer with this brush. So the Suku L brush is a squirrel hair brush, so it's not gonna pick things up as strongly as Goat does. So there's that. Let me show you with another brush as well. So this is the Sonia G Worker Pro. So let me just show you the difference. Put this on my other eye. And this is, again, just a light layer, but this is undyed goat hair. So I just wanted to show you that it's not the shadow not being pigmented. In that case, it's the brush. I think I'll go in with the Worker Pro, get a little bit more on this side. So I'm going to take this L brush and I'm just going to use this in the crease here. I did wipe it off. I'm just going to kind of buff this a little bit. And now I'm going to go back in with the Worker Pro into the more lilac purple. And I'm going to put this on top of the gray on the outer half of the eye. You see that? Going back in with the L brush, and I'm just kind of doing little patting motion right where the blend is. So the purple, you can see it over the gray, but you can't see it super well over the gray. So I'm actually going to dampen my brush and add a little of the purple that way and see what that does. So I just dampened my brush with some of the Evian spray water. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this from the outer corner in. Okay, look at that sheen. You see the purple pearly sheen there? I like that. All right, so I like that. It's like a gray and purple smoky eye, essentially. I'm going to now take the Pencil Pro from Sonia G into the Beigey taupe shade. And I'm just gonna get a little bit of this here. I'm gonna add this to the inner corner and I'm dragging it into the crease, just for the inner half of the eye. Then I wiped off the Pencil Pro, even though you can't really tell. I'm gonna go into the lilac shade with this. Just gonna get a little bit on here and put this on the lower lash line. I want to do something brighter. So I'm going to take the Blue Metal, and this is number 38. I'm going to put this along the upper lash line here. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of this. Okay, and I'm going to add a touch of this to the waterline down here as well. Right, so again, anytime I add eyeliner like that to the waterlines, my eyes always get a little watery for a minute, but I'm gonna let this sit, add some mascara. I'll see you in a second after I finish my makeup. You know what, actually, before I finish my makeup, I'm gonna take the L brush into this like beigey taupe shade, and I'm actually gonna blend this up here, all the way up to the brow, just a little bit. So this is the eye look up close. So this is all of my makeup up close. I have on the Clé de Peau Radiant Natural Foundation along with some Lisa Eldridge products today. And yeah, this is it. And this is everything from a distance. If you made it through all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. And I would love to know which one of these looks was your favorite. I'm kind of torn on a couple of them. So I really, really like these products. And I hope this video was helpful. So if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'll see you very soon. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.